Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Eliel. And first of all, I wanted to remind you that today, November 8th, the square between Venus in Scorpio and Pluto in Aquarius is perfected. I left a video the other day talking about this. Continues to be active until November 10th. And here it is put in evidence what we need to let go of. In the things that we need to deepen too, like uncomfortable emotions, from which many times people want to run away of, or that we need to process so we are not projecting them in an imbalanced way towards the outside, or to not look for experiences that can cover up the voids and that end up causing more suffering. It is about also to surrender to the grief or the necessary transformations that we need to do. And also listening to our intuition when something energetically we are not feeling that good, whether these are people or situations. On the other side, the moon entered in Cancer, and this is a calling to go to the inner shelter. It is a calling of emotional, mental, physical nutrition, and it is it is accompanying this event that we have tomorrow, November 9th, which is the topic of the video, and we are talking about the retrogradation of Mercury. Mercury begins this retrogradation in the degree 6 with 51 minutes of Sagittarius. This goes until November 29th, where awakens direct in the degree 20 with 42 minutes of Scorpio. Let's remember that this is an optical illusion from the terrestrial perspective. And this occurs generally 3 times a year. Mercury right now is stationary, which is, the phase where Mercury stays in the same mathematical degree at the beginning and at the end, and those moments where the effects of the retrogradation are stronger. The problems to travel, in the communications, both in the means that we use to communicate, as in the ways that we are talking or listening. We could omit certain informations, or not transmitting things with clarity, or not putting enough attention because the mental processes are being called to an introspection. And as I mentioned in the video of the last Sunday, I think it's good to take in account whatever the situations, if they are happening or if they occurred, precisely to make a review and observe what they are indicating. It is also very common, the return of situations and people of the past. Many times this happened to close cycles, and to identify, especially in this first phase of Sagittarius that goes until November 19th, what is truly aligned with our true purpose in this experience. So everything that we have experimented from October 21st until this moment is going to be reevaluated. Some projects could enter in a pause, or we could feel the need of taking a pause to review decisions that we want to assume, to rethink conversations, agreements, exchanges, because in that period we had two lunations with a lot of tense aspects with planets in Libra and Jupiter in Cancer and Chiron retrograde in Aries. So this transit, it is proposing to observe with another perspective, to acquire a new knowledge from the circumstances, and to observe if there, what we are putting our focus, that if that truly responds to expansive visions that are related with the sense of our soul. If what we assume as a truth, it is truly our inner truth right now, or it is coming from attachments to visions that we want to sustain, or old beliefs. And when Mercury moves to Scorpio, there we can deepen to investigate in the roots of what produces pain, rejection, fear, and to do a purification of perceptions, especially the ones that when we unconsciously we are seeing the reality in a way that is pushing us away from our strength to be reborn, or that are creating resistances to let go of what disconnects us from life, what drains our energy. Also, the Scorpion phase could represent a moment in which we can connect with new ideas, perceptions, resources, or abilities that were slept. to find a way of applying that to the experience and to transform that. Because Mercury is going to do 3 oppositions with Uranus. Oppositions are tensions. The first one already happened when Mercury was in Sagittarius with Uranus retrograde in Gemini on October 29th. Close to those days, close to that day, people could have been dealing with revelations of truth that they weren't expecting, or situations that were showing that we have to break with an old structure of thought. But the other ones are happening with Uranus in Taurus on November 19th, both of them retrograde, and the third one on December 10th with Mercury direct. So these contacts could be moments where the information is emerging, the decisions that can actually impulse resolutions, but also it is going to be very important to let go of the resistance to what we need to do to move forward, both in the energetical level. I am talking about, mentally and emotionally, and also the ways in which we are operating in the matter. Because when Mercury re-enters in Sagittarius, well, we can, reconnect with the trust and the enthusiasm for exploring the path if you have been experimenting like difficult times. Or we can amplify our look, especially when we are having perceptions that are very limited and that they are preventing us from seeing opportunities, because there are always opportunities and everything has a sense. This is what Mercury in Sagittarius reminds us. Other thing that I mentioned on Sunday is that it's going to repeat contacts also 3 times that already did with Pluto in Aquarius, that was a sextile, and trines with Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. We're going to talk about these transits later, but all of them are harmonic aspects. It is going to be reactivated the grand trine of water that was very present in October when Mercury comes back to Scorpio. Therefore, some people are going to notice this more than others, but you could, intuitions could reach you that are helping us to create this inner shelter, conversations, or the resignification of situations that could be very healing, or that actually remind us that the state of healing, of openness to love is something that is already in us and that we can allow in the present moment. Also this could mean greater fluidity to integrate a learning regarding boundaries and letting go of self-deceit, to really focus in expansion of potential and dreams. At last, I wanted to tell you that Mercury is very close to Mars. In fact, the next days, they are going to perfect their second conjunction. The first one happened at the end of October in Scorpio. They are going to have only 2 encounters. So on one side, it is important to avoid taking decisions or communicating things in an impulsive way, because the retrogradation is starting, and it could happen that later you are not seeing the circumstances in the same way. And on the other side, we can really connect with the direction that is more expansive for us. But this is about going inwards and observing what is required right now to produce the expansion. And this is reinforced because Jupiter is about to be retrograde also in a few days. I'm going to talk about that later. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.